Hey YouTubers, it's Charlie. This is going to be my Walking Dead episode 7 video, Carl Grimes vs. Negan. Just careful for spoilers if you haven't seen it yet, but I definitely feel like this made up for the slow episode 6 last week. Just a heads up too, there is a new round of the Walking Dead giveaway. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and leave a comment on this video. Make sure you click that bell to enable alerts so that you don't miss out on anything. But they should have called this episode Walking Dead number 105. Carl stows away on his mission to kill Negan. It took a little bit longer on the TV show, but it's almost the exact same plot. So let's do top 10 WTF and comic book Easter eggs. A lot of these were copied page to screen from the comic book, like literally lifting dialogue right off the page. So number 10, Michonne makes herself a roadblock so that she can get to Negan. It's slightly different in the comics. Michonne goes to a different place, but we can address that when we start talking about the mid-season finale. So they're following the comics pretty closely, but a couple of characters are a little bit different from the comics, but they're all heading in the comic book direction. Like those mattresses that the Saviors burn that she's staring at the beginning of the episode, Carl hid under those in the comics. That's how he stowed away into the Savior's compound in the comics. So I love the way they cut between Michonne and Rick. Like she put her walkie down, Rick wakes up in the back of the pickup truck with Aaron and almost goes to call her but thinks twice of it. Like they're all kind of at odds here. They need to come together. So that was kind of the theme of the episode, that we're slowly getting to that point where things are so bad that they can't take it anymore. It's just that all of the characters haven't gotten to that place yet. The place that Rosita, Carl, and Michonne are in. Like a couple of the few people that are actively starting to fight back. But number 9, back to Carl and Jesus, who is super pissed when Carl does not jump off the back of the truck with him. Now his whole mission was to make it into the Savior's compound to find where Daryl was, to see if he could break him out and do some recon. So he's still doing that, but Carl isn't having any of that. So number 8, right out of the comics, jumps out of the back of the truck, guns blazing, kills a couple of the Saviors. Negan is flat out impressed, but still afraid. So Negan is a psychopath, but he's not dumb, so that's why he's standing behind this Savior here before they disarmed Carl. Like he's still hedging his bets, so when he tells Carl that he is afraid, he's actually being honest. That's the thing about Negan, is that he bullshits a lot, so it's hard to tell when he's telling the truth and when he's busting your balls. Like I like the way Negan talked about busting balls, like it's no big deal, in the most psychotic way possible. So number 7, we pick up with Daryl, who is now on guard duty. Like you see him chained up with the other walkers, like the people who they punished by making them stand out there with the other walkers. And then it pans out on their base right off the page. So like you see all the roadblocks, it's heavily fortified. So they're just trying to make it seem like this insurmountable, impregnable fortress. But the funny thing here is that while Negan's going on, this was kind of a runner through the episode too, is that they'd have like some big exchange that seemed really serious, but he would just casually slip in insults like, hey, how's the job going, Daryl? Make fun of Carl's eye, make fun of Olivia for being fat. Like he just has an auto responder in his brain that just throws out an insult for every regular comment that he speaks. But number 6, he finally gives the big speech and refers to them as the Saviors. Now the other people that we've met have called them the Saviors, but we never heard Negan refer to them as the Saviors. So he has that big epic speech, which was a nice mirror for Rosita's speech at the end, only Negan's is kind of like the psychotic cult version. Like he's this cult leader, keeps bragging to Carl about how he has them all on their knees. Look how cool I am. Like he even has them on their knees after he finishes speaking. But you do get this sense, like, as he's like performing for all these people, he did this several times in the episode, where he's kind of like Ezekiel. Ezekiel did a little bit of community theater, so he has this flair for performance that Negan also has. It's just that Negan is kind of delighting in tormenting people. And Ezekiel doesn't really get off on it that way. He's more of a Wizard of Oz type character, where he just keeps it up to make everybody feel safe, not to keep people under his thumb. But number 5, that car ride with Gabriel and Spencer, 2 of the most hated members of the Safe Zone, talking about hating people. The thing is that Gabriel is kind of like the more hopeful spin on this. Like he used to be hated and he's come around and calls Spencer out for being a dick. Like, look, dude, it doesn't have to be terminal, then gets out and walks back just because he can't stand Spencer anymore. But he's Father Gabriel, so he's really sweet about it. So I really love Gabriel in this moment. But Spencer is on this really weird trip where he's almost turning into the new Dwight, where like he wants to keep the peace. He wants to like find all these supplies, and they have that funny twist with the note read in Latin. So he finds weapons, finds some food, and it's kind of like the diametric opposite of Rosita, who, number 4, talks Eugene into manning up and making her some bullets. So Rosita's speech was like my other favorite big speech in the episode besides Negan's savior speech. It was this huge rally moment. It's just like the tipping point. And they also kind of teased the Rick Aaron storyline, which I'll talk about in a second. Like Rosita being a really badass female character, making a plan to take on Negan. You have Michonne, who's doing the same thing. And then you have the Rick and Aaron storyline, number 3, which I think, they find this community. I think it's going to turn out to be Magna, who's this female leader of another small community near the safe zone. It's just the way they use those male pronouns when they were seeing all the signs, all the defenses. They're like, oh, this guy is heavily armed. He has this floater traps. He's really smart about his defenses. I just feel like it's a big misdirect, and it's going to be a woman, like a really badass female character. And Magna is like the next likely candidate because I don't think they're doing the Whisperers this soon, because the leader of the Whisperers, Alpha, is a female too. But it's way too soon for that. So number 2, Carl gets a grand tour of Negan's compound. He meets all the wives. This is all right out of the comics. In most WTF scene ever, Negan totally gets off on seeing Carl's eye without the bandage on. Like he even starts sketching it a little, makes Carl sing a song that his mother sang to him, which is super creepy. And then as he starts weeping, Carl confesses, I shot my mother. So Negan, when he was saying that he was impressed with Carl, he was being genuine. But the big twist is that Negan, as much as he was enjoying getting to know Carl more, was also stalling for time till number 1, the iron was ready. So he gives Mark the iron, just like he does in the comics. There's another big speech. This one's a little bit creepier about the rules, about how he's trying to keep order in his society. So that kind of ties up in with the idea that Carl knows that Negan can't kill him, because that would drive Rick over the edge. It would destroy the system that Negan is trying to keep in place. He does have a plan. Like, he's not completely insane. He really enjoys the way things are, and he knows there's a certain trick to keeping the balance between all the different communities that he has under his thumb, or seemingly has under his thumb. So Carl, realizing that, says, you can't kill me, so you might as well just jump out the window to save me the trouble of killing you. But the face iron scene, I love the way they kept flashing back to Dwight, to their reactions. They didn't linger on it quite as much as I expected. They cut away, but maybe that's just because the first episode with the Glenn and the Abraham kill was so graphic that they wanted to dial it back just a little bit. But this was like an hour-and-a-half episode, so I probably should have had like 5 more WTF moments on this. So really, like, tied for first was that final moment with Negan cradling Judith in this Norman Rockwell nightmare, saying that he should just kill Carl and Rick and move into the suburbs. So they're really just trying to beat you in the face with the idea that Negan has to go. So that's going to require everyone coming together, like all the communities, the kingdom, Oceanside, this new group of people that Rick and Aaron are running into, and help from the inside of the Saviors too. So people like Dwight and Sherry. Like, Sherry seems like she's really pissed that Dwight hasn't come around because he's still playing by Negan's rules. So if you look at Daryl's note here, I actually think it was Sherry that let him out just because the handwriting looks kind of effeminate. Like, unless Dwight has really effeminate handwriting. But you see in the next episode, he's escaping. There's so much story to get through that I think the mid-season finale is another 90-minute episode. So it's going to be crazy. Let me know in the comments, what was your guys' favorite moment? Do you think that they will actually decide, like Rick will meet with the other heads of the communities, including Dwight, to move against Negan in episode 8? Do you think that's going to be the cliffhanger for the back half of the season and they'll do March to War? Like, this episode was issue 105. That's in the middle of March to War, volume 18. It feels like volume 19 will be the back half of the season leading into All Out War, which is volume 20. So if you are reading along, I would recommend that you read through volume 18 again, then get ready for volume 19 before we come back for the back half of the season. But here, let's do it this way. Leave a like if you think that Spencer is going to be one of the next big characters to get killed off of the show just because he's headed in such a Dwight direction. And it seems like they're setting Dwight's character up to crawl out of that hole, like crawl out from under Negan's thumb. But what's going to happen is there's like a couple really big videos that are dropping tomorrow. I got my Westworld finale video that'll post tomorrow morning. There's going to be a Transformers trailer dropping. and the Walking Dead finale trailer, so I'm trying to get those videos out as fast as possible. But if you have any bonus videos for The Walking Dead that you want me to do during the mid-season break, just let me know in the comments. While you guys wait for that to post, you can click here to rewatch that Guardians of the Galaxy trailer, and you can click here for all my Westworld videos. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Let's high five. I'll see you guys tonight.